Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Welcome to Casually Spiraling with me, Julie Bishop, just a tall girl in this world trying to make sense of life, dating, money, relationships, identity, culture, all of the things. I've learned that my thoughts don't always land with the people around me. So I'm here to break it all down, talk it out, probably overshare, and maybe find someone or some people who don't think I'm totally crazy after all. Hi, welcome back to Casually Spiraling with me, Julie Bishop. I'm here to expose my brain and ramble on and figure this shit out, this thing that we call life. If you're listening to this, then either you listened to last episode and you came back, so thank you, or you're discovering this for the first time, also thank you. Either way, thank you for listening. Can't do this without anyone listening. So thank you. I did want to start out and say, look, the first episode, last week's podcast, I recorded it when I was a little bit sick. I was sick for a few days and I had been planning on recording it, and then I got sick. So I said, no, hold off. And then I thought I was feeling better and I was like, okay, finally I'm going to do this. And I recorded it and I was fighting for my life, trying to breathe. And I listened to it back and you can totally hear how stuffed up I am and how maybe my energy wasn't as high as I normally am. And I was like, dang, I really recorded my first episode of my podcast when I was sick. What was I thinking? No, but I just want to put it out there that this is not perfect. This is not going to be perfect. I am figuring it out. That's my brand. I'm spiraling. I'm figuring life out. I'm figuring this podcast shit out for the first time. And you can't succeed at something if you don't try. Yes, part of me wants to be perfect and put out my best, but also part of me is like, if I'm going to keep trying to make this perfect or anything I do perfect, sometimes that's just fears of failure building up and then it'll never get done. It'll never end up getting put out there. So that is me. This is not going to be perfect. I'm figuring this out along the way and hopefully it'll get better and better. And we can only go up from here. So let's get into it. Also, if you are looking at any of the social media clips, you'll also see I'm in a new location. Another part of this evolving process, I do cat sit and house sit a lot, so you may see me in various locations. I don't have a studio. Again, I'm doing this all on my own, so that's just me. I'm figuring this out along the way, and I am not perfect, as none of us are. So let's get into today's episode, shall we? Today's topic is not so controversial, I suppose, but I just feel like this is something that I've struggled with for a while, and I found out so many people in my life also have, even people who I may think have not struggled with this, and then I get talking to them and eventually find out they have. And I'm like, oh, you too? Oh, me too. And just so many people around. And that thing is making friends as an adult. Dun, dun, dun. No one wants to admit it, maybe, or talk about it, but it is real. It is a struggle. It is way different as you get older trying to make friends. We're not kids anymore, and I thought I would be out of this stage by the ripe age of 27, but here I am. Nope, psych, still trying to figure it out. So let's dive in, shall we? Okay, to start off, I just wanted to talk about first the struggle itself and my personal struggles with this throughout the years. Started off, even as a kid, honestly, I wasn't the best at making friends. I never have been, and I still am not. Obviously, that's why I'm talking about this. But even as a kid and growing up, and this is something you are as a kid, right? I was awkward. We were all awkward as a kid. I wasn't sure myself. I was so self-conscious. I didn't know how to feel comfortable being myself. And that just comes in being a kid and being younger. That's part of growing up. You figure that out and you find your confidence. But I just clearly remember from middle school to high school, I just remember like beating myself up about getting shy and anxious when meeting new people. I would constantly have a flowing conscious in my head of telling myself, just be yourself, just be yourself. You know you're nice, you know you're fun, you know you're funny. But when I met new people growing up, I just froze up and I didn't feel like I could be myself. And I would shame myself in my head when I'm meeting someone. The talk in my head is going, just be yourself, just be yourself, just say something, just say something. And I would always just freeze up and never felt confident and so anxious. So even as a kid, I really struggled with making new friends, and it took me a while to feel comfortable being myself around people. So it was hard. It's hard to make friends that way. And then for high school, so I grew up going to a Catholic school, as I mentioned, up through the 8th grade. And then in high school, I switched over to a public school, and everyone already knew each other. They already had their group of friends. They were all coming from the same middle schools, and I was coming from a different one, and I didn't know anyone. And that was really tough because everyone already had their cliques. I didn't want to be in a clique anyway. I really just wanted to be friends with people I liked, not caring what group or clique that they were in. But either way, everyone already had their set group of friends, and that was tough. I felt even more out of place and awkward, and I really did not meet my close high school friends, or not meet them. I didn't really become friends with them until like junior and senior year. It was tough, and I felt so awkward and weird. But that's what you feel like in high school, I guess, or at least maybe other people don't, and they're just hiding it. I don't know. Additionally, my one best friend that I had in my Catholic school days, that I still had these Catholic school friends outside of my high school life. So they didn't go to the public school I went to, but we were still friends. And then, of course, you go through friend breakups, and that is hard. That is unlike any other breakup, especially your first one. And now it's like, what do I do? If I'm being honest, here we go. I'm going to overshare and expose myself. I did not go to my junior year prom of high school because I didn't feel like there was somewhere I belonged. I thought it was just going to be an anxious mess, and I wasn't going to end up having fun. Everyone gets together in their friend groups and takes photos and go together, and I did not have close friends to do that with. Even if someone did invite me, I knew I would feel so out of place because I wasn't close with those groups. And I had just gone through a friend breakup, so I didn't have my best friend, and I felt really alone. So I had gotten a dress and everything, and I decided to not go. And I told people I was sick instead, for anyone who asked, and said I was, oh, thank God for my sister. I was with my sister. We got Chinese food and we watched TV and movies and stuff. But yeah, kind of embarrassing, but I skipped my prom all because I didn't have close friends at that time. And dang, I wish I did. But honestly, prom is overrated. Let's be honest. Like, you live and you learn. But I really did not meet my close high school friends until senior year. And that's when we got really close. Finally felt comfortable enough and met a good group of girls who are still, some of them are still my best friends today. And then after high school, what happens? You go on to college. And everyone is going to a different area, a different school. Most or some, for me, I went to a different state. Not most, just me, just some. I went to a different state, didn't know anyone. Again, in this situation of, oh, here I go again. I have to put myself out there, and I'm really bad at this. And I did not join a sorority because that wasn't for me. I also wasn't on a sports team. I feel like these are certain things that made it easier for people to make friends in college. I was a theater major and in the film program, and I was a theater kid, and I didn't even feel like I fit in there. In the groups I actually was in, I didn't feel like I belonged there. I didn't feel like I fit in with those people or found my people in the groups that I was putting myself in. So I didn't have that outlet to naturally make friends. So I don't know. I was just lost in finding where are the people that get me and that I could feel myself around and be natural around. And then finally, as I talked about, I went through a little depression period in college. And once I got out of that, I met my best friend of college, is still one of my best friends now. And we even joke about it sometimes when we go out or when we were going out in college. Like, it was just us two, and we like see these big groups of girls who have these huge groups of friends on TikTok and social media. And we're like, how do you get that? Where do you meet all those girls where everyone is so close and in a big group? I still didn't have a big group, but I ended up meeting a few good group quality besties. But still, we're always like, oh, it's just us two. It's just us two. How do you get that big groups that everyone have on social media? I don't know. I still don't know. Still figuring it out. But I finally got my confidence, and I was not, beating myself up anymore, not in my head. I felt confident being myself for like naturally more and more and more as I got older. So it got easier. But then what happens? What happens? We graduate, and here we are again, post school. And again, everyone gets jobs. People now move away. You're not in school anymore in those situations where it's natural to meet people. You're not getting new roommates maybe, or you're not in these sororities, sports teams, even if you did have that. You're not in the dorm rooms. You're not in these natural settings where people are all meeting new people. You're now in the real world where everyone's got jobs, everyone's busy and doing separate things. It's another life time where you've gone away from your friends. First, it was from high school to college, and now college after. Your groups of friends that you had and you had finally made, you're now parting ways with a lot of the times. And you're not in school anymore. You're not in these forced situations of schools and clubs that force you to meet new people. You got to figure it out on your own now. And now that you're older and you're an adult and you have a job, it takes a lot more time and effort. You have less time and you have less energy to put into making friends. To make genuine friends, you need time, and you need to see each other repetitively. Again, in high school and college, you were seeing each other every day at school. You're building that rapport, that trust, and that true friendship. Post that, it is very hard to make time to see a new person and want to see a new person more than once a week, maybe once a month. When you're meeting a new person, you're not as inclined to see them so often because you don't know them as well. But if you want to make that much of a genuine friend, you really do need the time and the effort to put in, and it just gets harder and harder to find that. Everyone has their jobs and their life and are tired and stressed off enough about whatever real life now and bills and money and careers and growth that it's hard. It's hard to, when you meet someone new, meet someone right away where you're like, oh, I need to make sure I see them, and it naturally happens over and over again, and it doesn't feel weird or like a date. You need that repetition. It is a relationship. A friendship is a relationship, and relationship takes effort, commitment, and time, and that just gets harder once you're an adult. You have more responsibilities that you have to attend to than you did previously. Additionally, I found that I've gone through phases of my life where I was okay with certain types of friends. There was instances where I had certain new friends where we did a lot of activities together. They got me out of the house. We went out to bars together, and they were like, let's say, my going out friends or my hobby friends. And these were people where I didn't necessarily know them or get to know them on a deeper level, or maybe I liked them, but I didn't love them like I love my best friends that I've grown up with. But I needed a friend in that time, and those people got me out of the house, and they got me doing new things and doing fun things. So it was nice at the time to have people to do things with, so you could get out and feel better and put yourself out there more. And I think that's okay for certain times of your life. You go through phases where you need a certain type of people in your life, and that's okay. But then I feel like recently I've grown out of that, and I really I really want just genuine people in my life and just genuine friendships where we can do more than just go out to bars. We can just hang out. We can just go over each other's places and do whatever. We can go get lunch. We can run errands together. Like all that random stuff that I do with my best friends that I have from high school, and putting that into a new friend. But it's hard to find that. Everyone just seems like the only free time they have is when you're going out at night or on the weekends. And that just comes down to all that the relationship is. And that's great and all, but I'm busy. I'm busy. So if I want to make time for someone, I really want those genuine friends. Like, how do I find friends that I'm as close to as my best friends from high school and college? I haven't been able to find that connection yet. And it's hard. Or maybe you're not supposed to anymore. And I'd be fine with that. I don't need quantity. I need quality. I don't need quantity wise. The only reason I'm looking for it is because I decided to move away from my best friends. And yes, I did that. We're all spread out now. One in Arizona, Florida, Pennsylvania, all over the country we are spread out. So if I did live near them all, I wouldn't need more. I don't need a lot. It's just the fact that I don't live near any of them. So I would like to have that kind of friendship where I live, at least one or two. And I am struggling to make those genuine clicks and connections and friendships again. Okay. So what is it now that everyone says to do when you're looking to make new friends? They say you have to start doing things on your own. Just as easy as that. So simple, right? No, wrong. I'd like to say I got a good hang on this now. I am a little bit, maybe of a vet of this now. I've gone through many phases of this, but I did struggle for years first. Now, I wouldn't say I'm perfect at this, but I've gotten a lot better at this and feeling comfortable doing this. But it is not as easy as people say. I see those TikToks. I see all those TikToks. There's so many of girls just being like, you want to make friends? Why don't you just start doing things on your own? If someone can't do something that you want to do, just go and do it on your own. Okay. And that's it. That's all you have to say. It's not that easy. Not for all of us, at least. Maybe for you, Kathleen, on TikTok. But for a lot of us, it's not as easy as that. Some of us have social anxiety, okay? And even if they want to be comfortable with it, it's not our choice. By default, it's just not a comfortable thing, okay? It's not my choice. But, here I go. And this is what I did. You just got to start somewhere. You just got to start somewhere if you want to get more comfortable with it. And I had so many instances of doing this and doing things on my own and not feeling comfortable. And I'm like, I'm never going to feel comfortable. And now I've had some successes and I just did it the more and more. And you find out which of those activities for you that you're going to do on your own stick and which ones work and which ones do not, and which ones you do not need to force yourself to keep doing if they make you feel uncomfortable. But at first, to figure that out, you kind of got to play the game and go to a variety of activities on your own and then see which ones you're comfortable with by yourself and which ones you're like, okay, no, this is not for me and I don't have to force myself to do this if I don't want to. But look, I'm still young, as I like to remind you, hopefully. I am still young. I want to be outside. I want to be having fun and enjoying these 20s. That's what you're supposed to do when you're in your 20s, even in your 30s, hell, whenever. I want to be enjoying life. I want to be young and fun. Hopefully I'm still young and fun. I want to be out there. I don't want to look back and think, oh, I wish I did more. I feel like people only look back and think that. I don't think people really look back and say, oh, I wish I did less. So I want to be doing more because I never want to regret looking back and be like, oh, why wasn't I inside all the time? Why wasn't I enjoying my 20s, living in a city or wherever you're at, wherever you're happy to be living? Why was I not enjoying that? So that is what I've been trying to prioritize, being outside, whatever capacity that means. Okay, so let's go through some of these options for doing things on your own, and I'll share with you what has worked and what hasn't, or my thoughts. The first one that people say is go to the bar by yourself. Okay. Are you a male? Is that easier for you? Because I'm just a girl. And sometimes that is questionable. You need to make sure that you're safe and that you're okay. And also, people say this, but I feel like it just feels awkward doing that. It would have to be the perfect scenario for this to work out. The perfect type of bar where you feel safe. The perfect people on that night at that bar. Maybe somewhere where you can sit at a bar and bring a book, but you also don't want to close yourself off, but you also don't want to look like strange and weird, like you're staring at people and looking around. So it really would have to be a perfect scenario, I feel like, for this to work. Because I have tried this before and I just felt so awkward doing it. I've done this when I went and like sat at a bar and just looking around, everyone there was already with their group of friends. They weren't looking to go up to someone by themselves. And even on nights where I have met new people out at a bar, how often do those quote unquote friendships or those acquaintances last? You always say when you're out, like, oh my God, we're going to hang out. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to go out, this and that. And then it never continues past that night. You wake up the next morning and you never hear from each other again. How many of you have been in that instance? How many times? Because me, I have so many times. Additionally, it's hard to not bring your phone out, like out of your purse or out of your pocket and default to looking and scrolling on your phone. I've done this so many times. I've gone out and be like, I'm not going to bring out my phone. Seem open, but then I get there and I feel so awkward. I'm like, I have to do something with myself. Let me look like I'm looking on my phone so I don't look weird and alone and awkward. And again, as a girl, it can be scary being alone out at a bar in this situation. You really have to have your guard up. Okay, another embarrassing story revolving around this. Here I go again. One time in college, early college, when I was sad and I didn't have friends yet, I even tried doing this with a frat party. I walked on over to a frat party by myself and I'm like, don't sit at home, just go out. And oh my gosh, that was not it. That's not where you want to be alone. Looking around, everyone there with their friends, and it's just, I cringe thinking about that memory. But hey, look, I was trying. Oh, little Julie was trying so hard. And she did. And I'm proud of her for doing that. But also, yikes, girl. Yikes. What were you doing? Wow, I really am exposing myself. You were probably all like, damn, she's lame. She's a loser. But no, I swear I'm nice and fun. I promise. I promise I have friends now, but it's okay if you don't. It's not a bad thing because like I'm saying, this is all so hard. So anyway, bars by yourself, probably a no for me. Probably not the best experience. I haven't had a good one in either distinction, whichever kind of bar it is or type of party. Okay. Another way that started as kind of a failure for me, but then I grew into a big success, was trying out Bumble BFFs. I first tried out Bumble BFFs when I moved to Atlanta after college, and I moved there, had never been there before. I didn't know anyone. I was trying to make friends, and I struggled with it, and I dropped it fast. It was awkward. It was strange. It felt like dates. It was like interviews, those bad Hinge dates, except this is with friends, and it just didn't feel natural, and I did not meet anyone that I felt naturally with. And then again, when I moved to LA this year, again, I had never been here before I moved, and I didn't know anyone. I started with it. And again, one, it was taking up a lot of time. It was taking up a lot of my time where meeting girls individually, you have to plan out a lot of them. And I was like, dang, every single night I'm trying to do one of these Bumble BFF dates. So it was a lot of time. It was very draining. And then additionally, what do you do? Typically, girls suggest to meet up for a drink. And again, it just felt like a date. It felt like an interview. I felt like I was having the same conversations over and over and over again. And again, it was surface level, and I was not meeting anyone genuinely or getting to know them genuinely. So with all this combined, and also I felt like I was spending a lot of money going on these Bumble BFF dates over and over and over again with people that I didn't know, all of these factors inspired me to try and create or organize this little event. And so I just decided, you know what? I want to be out. I want to be bar hopping. And all these girls on this app are looking to meet other girls. So why don't I try and get as many girls on here together as possible, and we all go out to different bars together. Let's not have the awkward interview location and format, and let's just not have it one-on-one. Maybe if there's a big group of us and we all know we're looking for friends from this app, then everyone will just have fun. It'll be a more loose and natural setting, and it won't feel so weird. And plus, you're meeting a bunch of people at once, so it saves you time and it saves you money. Get it all done at once, and then you see who you vibe and click with and may actually be good friends with and not. So what I started doing was I was just swiping, and trying to match with as many girls as I could. And anytime I matched with anyone, I sent them this paragraph, and I was like, next Saturday, I'm getting a group of girls off of here to go to some bars together. Are you in or not? And then everyone who said yes, I got their phone numbers and I made a group chat. And I organized this thing. And you know what? The group chat had like 10 to 15 people. You know how many of us total showed up? 4. 4. But you have to plan for that. Not everyone's going to show up. But guess what? Those 4 people, one of them being me, one of them being my roommate, and then 2 other girls, it was a success. We all had a great time. It was way more natural. It was not a waste of time. It was fun. I felt more like being myself. It didn't feel awkward, and it was a good time. So there's just an idea for anyone out there. Just be the leader. Stop being waiting around to meet people. And I was like, I'm tired of waiting around. I'm in this period where I want to take initiative and just do the things I want to do. So let me create it. If I'm not finding this out there, a place where I can meet girls and it be real and natural, let me just create it myself. And I'm so glad I did. And I would do it again. I have been thinking about doing it again. So it was a success, and that is a way. Start being the leader and making things happen that you want to happen instead of waiting for them to come to you. Okay, another one that is big all over social media now and just in general are run clubs, social clubs, walk clubs. This has been fun. Some people hate on them. They're like, oh, you runners and your clubs. Well, look, there are more than just run clubs. There are walking clubs, there are hiking clubs, and there are social clubs. So stop being a hater, okay? Okay, so first off, there was this walking club in Atlanta, and this ended up being how I met my core group of friends in Atlanta, but not the way you may think. So I met a girl at this social walk club. And at first, my first day there, again, it was awkward conversations. I felt weird, yada, yada, yada. But I went back again. Sometimes you may need to try things multiple times. I went back again, and I had to jump around a little bit from girl to girl. And I met a girl, and we exchanged numbers. And then she started inviting me out with her friends. And look, tale as old as time. I'm not friends with her so much anymore. But through her, I met someone, and through that person, I met someone, and through them, we met someone, and we all got together, and now we became a group of friends, and they were the core group of friends who I was with my last year or 2 in Atlanta. And yeah, so it may not work in the logical way that you may think. You may meet someone, and then through them, you meet someone, or, you never know how it's going to end out. And that ended up being great for me. And then all of my friends that I did end up meeting, they are runners. They are like marathon runners. I run sometimes, but then they brought me into a run club that they go to. And that was just such a fun way for us to see each other every week on a Monday night, break up the week and have fun and stay connected during the week. And I miss it. I miss going to it with them. And it ended up being really great. Now, there are other run clubs that I had less success with. When I moved to LA, I was like, oh, I love my run club in Atlanta. Let me try and find one in LA. And look, everyone knows here the Venice Run Club, the legendary, the big run club here, but it's hundreds of people now. It is not easy to go there by yourself and make friends. I forced myself a few times to go by myself, and I forced myself to talk to a few people, but again, no success. Everyone there is, again, in their groups. It's hundreds of people. That is hard. When you're standing there in the middle of hundreds of people and you're the one by yourself, I felt so awkward. But I forced myself to talk to a few people, but whatever, didn't work out. That one's tough because it's intimidating and hundreds of people, and everyone there seems to know each other again. But there are some smaller ones. I have found some smaller ones where it's more casual, more social, and more easier to socialize, and social friendly ones that are smaller. And since then, there's also have been this hiking group that started. I saw on social media and started, and they've been growing and growing. And I love to hike, and I've been wanting to find more hikes here. And I'm one that, like, when I say I hike, a lot of people in LA say they hike, and it's like they just go on a 2-mile walk. But I can do more advanced hikes, longer hikes. I've done a lot. And I wanted to find people who actually wanted to hike and not just go on a 2-mile no uphill steady walk. I wanted to find people that would actually go on long hikes with me, and I feel more comfortable doing those in a group setting than by myself. I just feel safer that way. So that has been a really fun group to go to. The first time I went, everyone just started talking to each other. 3 girls of us exchanged Instagrams. Again, we've never seen each other since, so that does happen a lot, but I am really glad I went to that by myself. It was a great day. I discovered a new hike that I can now go to, and it got me out of the house, and I felt really great about that, and I talked to a bunch of different people and how we ended up there, and I have been back since. And yeah, so that's been another fun activity. If you're not into running or walking, there are other options, and there's so many other groups blowing up right now. You'll find them a lot on social media, so look through your TikToks and through your Instagrams. Another way that I have loved was that I have joined some rec leagues. Rec leagues are so fun most of the time. So in Atlanta, my friends put together a soccer rec league, and I had never played soccer before in my life. I was not good. They all there have played soccer, but it was still so much fun. Now that was with a group of friends that I had already been friends with. I wasn't there looking to meet new friends, but I'm so glad I said yes to it. I'd been wanting to say yes to more things, so I just actually on a night out, we were all drunk, and I guess I said yes to it. I don't even remember. I woke up the next morning in a group chat and was like, here's our team, and I was like, what did I agree to? But I'm so glad I did, because we ended up having so much fun, and even though I wasn't the best player, I found my strengths, and yeah, I had a great time. So then when I moved to LA, I was like, okay, rec leagues, that's another way. And here I live by the beach, and I love volleyball, and I grew up playing volleyball, and I noticed so many beach volleyball leagues going on. So I joined a rec beach volleyball league by myself, and we had so much fun. I looked forward to it every single week. My first team, everyone was so cool, so fun. We got along so well. We ended up building rapport and getting better in volleyball each week, and it was so much fun. We did all exchange Instagrams. Again, we haven't met up. See, these are the tough things, is people actually committing to doing the meetup. A lot of people say they want to, like, oh yeah, we should, and then no one ever does. So again, it's hard to get people to actually commit. Even if you are the leader trying to organize it, it's hard to get the people to actually commit, which makes it hard to make genuine friends as an adult, is getting people to actually commit and going out and following through with plans. But anyway, I still really enjoyed myself, and I had so much fun, and it just made me feel more me and get me out of the house again, even when you're in an instance of maybe feeling alone or living somewhere where you don't know people. So then I decided, once that was the summer league, I was like, let me sign up for the fall league because I loved it so much. And this one wasn't the same. You know, the group of people wasn't as socialized, wasn't as interested, I guess, in that aspect. A lot of times we just showed up, played, and left. So it's a hit or miss. So maybe don't give up on it if it doesn't work out the first time, but it's a really fun way to also get yourself moving and, you know, play sports maybe you haven't played before, or reignite a sport you've played before and loved and need to make time for. And then finally, at least a perk about living in LA, and I'm sure if you live in another big city, or even if you don't live in a city, look out for things. Just, it is definitely more common in a bigger city. But at least in LA, there's always things going on. There's always events here. There's so many groups that you can follow that post all the events, like Camber, if you live in LA. Every week they post all the events going on in every area. Every day you could go to something if you wanted to. There's trivia nights at all the bars. There's karaoke nights. There's coffee days and chill days. There's like rave coffee if you don't want to drink alcohol. There's so many comedy shows. There's wellness events. Everyone is partnering up with everyone and putting on an event every day. The amount of partyfuls you get living in LA is insane. But start going to those. Those are so fun, and at least it gets you out of the house. Again, going by yourself, it can be tricky, but maybe if you meet one person at one, then you're like, oh, you want to go to more of these together, or find which ones you like and go more often. But that's just a perk of living in a city in another way, is finding these events, finding these social media groups, these little things to go to. But again, I recognize it is not easy. Not easy at all. So what I guess I'm trying to say with this episode is that it really took me time to feel comfortable making new friends and doing things on my own. And I'm still figuring it out. I'm still struggling to make those really genuine connections of friendships that I have, like I have with my college and high school best friend. And maybe, I don't know, like, do people still find those in their not later life, I'm acting like I'm whatever, in their late 20s or post-college? It's hard. It's hard to find that, and it can take a long time. Those friends that I met in Atlanta, I didn't meet till my third year in. My high school friends, I didn't meet till, again, third or fourth year into high school. College, third year. The ones that last, the genuine ones that last, I didn't meet till years in. So I know it can take time, but it's hard. It's hard to find those ones that aren't surface level anymore. But I am having some successes. I still see the girls from my group that met together from Bumble BFFs. I still have roommates, so roommates is still in my life. So that's another way to hopefully, because you do see each other more often, make some genuine friends. But this was something I thought I'd have figured out at this point, and I don't. And that's okay. It's probably never going to be easy, but just keep trying and keep putting yourself out there. That at least has gotten easier for me. I never thought I'd see the day where I would feel so comfortable just throwing myself into new activities and new things. Truly, that was not me for the longest time. I had no idea that I would now get to this point. So just keep trying. But I have, something that made me really happy was I have a coworker who is like 21, so she's a few years younger than me, just a baby, and she had reached out to me and was like, do you have any suggestions on making friends or ways I can meet new people? And she was asking me for advice on this because just in talk, she had heard that I do all these things. And I was like, oh, that made me feel really good. I was like, yes, let me tell you all these things. You go out there and get your friends, girl. Go put yourself out there and open up. So that made me feel really good. But damn, I really shared some embarrassing stories in this episode, just on episode 2. Dang. You're all going to judge me and I'm opening myself up to judgment or whatever. But, this is my experiences and my story. It's who I am, and I know me and my life. But yeah, hopefully this will bring good to others, make you feel not alone and that it's okay. And no matter what age, we're all still living life for the first time. This is the first time I've been 27. I've never been 27 before. This is my first year. So we're constantly all still figuring this out for the first time. So hopefully we can do some of that together. And hopefully I did not overshare too much, or maybe I just need to learn some fucking boundaries. But I guess we'll start to figure that out as we keep going on when I should set a boundary and maybe when I should still keep telling you my embarrassing stories. But here we are. I'm just going to keep going. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next week. Bye.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.